The forgotten library stands empty now. 4 pedestals bare, 4 lessons given, 4 truths carved into skin across the kingdom. Rowan bears silence, Iris carries mirrors, Kale holds roots, Elias wears completion. But the 5th pedestal still glows, and on it sits a book bound in iron chains, the heaviest book, the final truth, the one that costs everything because it asks everything. Who are you when all the names others gave you are stripped away? This is the story of the 5th book, the book of forgotten names, and this is the story of the librarian. She was born into slavery. That is the first thing you must understand. She had no name. Slaves weren't given names in that time, in that place. She was called Thing by her master, Nothing by his wife, Property in the ledgers. She was 20 years old and had never heard anyone speak a name that belonged to her. She didn't know if she'd been born with one. She had no memory of a mother who might have whispered it. She existed in the space between human and object, denied the most basic dignity, a name. Her master's house was large and cruel. She worked from before sunrise until after dark. She scrubbed floors that would be dirtied again by morning. She prepared food she would never taste. She existed to serve, and when she wasn't useful, she was beaten to remind her that usefulness was her only value. For 20 years, she endured this. For 20 years, she told herself that survival was enough, that existing, even as nothing, was better than not existing at all. Then, one night, everything changed. An old woman appeared in the slave quarters, a freed woman, ancient and scarred, who traveled in secret teaching slaves something dangerous, how to read. "They keep you enslaved with more than chains," the old woman said. "They enslave you with the belief that you are what they call you. But I will teach you words, and words will teach you that names are not given. Names are built." For months, the young slave learned in secret, the alphabet, then words, then sentences, then ideas. And with each lesson, something cracked open inside her. She began to notice how often her master said, "You are nothing," and realized he said it so often because he needed her to believe it. Her nothingness wasn't truth. It was a story he told to keep her powerless, and stories can be rewritten. "What do you want to be called?" the old woman asked one night. The young slave had never considered the question. She had no answer. "Then build a name with your actions," the old woman said. "Decide who you are by what you do. I was once called worthless. Now I am called teacher. Not because someone gave me that name, because I built it by teaching. You will build your name by choosing what you do next." "What should I do next?" she asked. The old woman smiled. "That's the first question of a free person. What should I do? Not what am I told to do? What should I do? Answer that and you'll know your name." The young woman thought for a long time. Then she said, "I should free others like you freed me with words. I should teach them that they are not what they're called. They are what they choose to build." The old woman's eyes filled with tears. "Then you have your name. You are freedom. Liberdade in my language. That is who you are, not because I name you, because you built it with your choice." That night, Liberdade made a decision that would cost everything. She began organizing the other slaves in secret. She taught them to read, as the old woman had taught her. She taught them that names given can be taken, but names built cannot. She taught them that their masters called them lazy and stupid and worthless, not because it was true, but because belief in those names kept them enslaved. "What name will you build?" she asked each person. And slowly, each slave chose courage, strength, hope,
dignity, teacher, healer, builder. Names that couldn't be taken because they weren't given. Names earned through chosen action. The revolution came on a night when the moon was dark. 37 slaves, each carrying a name they had built, rose up. Not with violence first, but with refusal. They refused to answer to the names their masters called them. They refused to believe the stories of worthlessness. They refused to be what others said they were. And when the masters tried to force them back into those names with whips and chains, the slaves, no, the free people, fought back. Liberdade led them, not because she was strongest or smartest, but because she had built a name that meant liberation, and she lived that name, even when it cost her everything. In the fighting, she was wounded, badly. She nearly died, but the revolution succeeded. 37 people walked free, and Liberdade, bleeding but alive, knew she had become her name. She wasn't called freedom, she was freedom, because she had built it through choice and courage and cost. In the years after, Liberdade became known across the land. People sought her out, not just former slaves, but anyone who felt trapped by the names others had given them. The girl called stupid by her teachers, the boy called worthless by his father, the woman called failure by her husband. They came to Liberdade asking, "How do I escape the names they gave me?" And she always answered the same way. You don't escape them, you build something stronger. You build a name through your actions that becomes more real than anything they called you. But Liberdade noticed something that troubled her. The lessons she taught about names, about building identity, about freedom, people learned them, but then they forgot. 5 truths kept appearing in her teaching. 5 lessons people needed but kept forgetting. That silence heals what words destroy. That you become what you judge. That strength comes from roots, not height. That finished imperfection matters more than perfect hiding, and that your name is what you build, not what you're given. She taught these truths to thousands, and thousands forgot them, returning to old patterns. So Liberdade made a decision. She would create something that would remember what people forgot. She found 5 people who needed each truth. She lived alongside them, teaching without teaching, present without imposing. She guided Rowan to silence, Iris to mirrors, Kael to roots, Elias to completion. Each learned their lesson, each carried their mark, but they never knew who had guided them. They never saw her face clearly. She remained a mystery, the librarian, keeper of forgotten truths. And now she stands in her library, ancient and tired, as the 5th pedestal glows. She has waited decades for someone to need the final book, but now she realizes there is no one left who needs it, because she has given it to Rowan, Iris, Kael, and Elias. They learned the 4 truths, but in learning them, they also touched the 5th, that identity is built, not given. The library is empty not because the work is done, but because the truths are now in the world, carried by people who will teach others. Liberdade, for that is still her name even in old age, walks to the final pedestal. The book of forgotten names glows in her hands. She opens it, and the pages show her own story, her enslavement, her awakening, her revolution, her teaching, her library. And on the final page, words appear. These books were mine. These truths set me free. I built my name through learning them. Now they are yours. What name will you build? She sets the book down gently. It begins to glow brighter, and then it vanishes, not destroyed, but released into the world, where anyone who needs it will find it. The 5th lesson doesn't need a pedestal. It lives in everyone who chooses who they are instead of accepting what they're called. The library begins to fade. Its purpose is complete. But before it disappears entirely, Libertad turns towards something she's never acknowledged before. She turns toward you. She looks directly at where you're watching, reading, listening. And she speaks no longer as the mysterious librarian, but as an old woman who was once enslaved and chose freedom. These books were mine. These truths were my liberation. I learned them alone, in chains, through pain and revolution. I created this library so you wouldn't have to learn them alone, so you would remember what the world forgets. The 5 truths. Silence heals. Judgment mirrors. Strength roots. Completion matters.
Names are built. These are yours now. What will you do with them? What name will you build? She smiles, and in that smile is every hard-won victory, every lesson learned through cost, every moment she chose who she was instead of accepting what she was called. The library dissolves into light, but the 5 books, they remain in the world, waiting on invisible pedestals in the hearts of anyone who needs to remember what they've forgotten. The forgotten library is gone, but the truths are everywhere now, living in people who choose their names. Thank you for reading the Book of Forgotten Names, the finale of The Forgotten Library, Season 1. If this series changed how you see yourself, please like this video and subscribe to Wise Man's Tales for Season 2. Share in the comments, what name are you building with your life? This is the end of Season 1, but your story, the name you're building, that's just beginning. Remember, your true name isn't what they call you, it's what you build.